Yo,
Mr. Ridgely, are we live? Is it time for a mastermind?
it is time for a mastermind. Hey, check this out, man. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That was
What
right
the
down
heck?
the street from my house because of the wind.
Wow.
That thing is snapped and sitting on top of the electrical cables
Wow.
as of this
And
morning.
and obviously you have your electricity.
We're good because it's on the street next to us. So, these winds are no joke, man. It has been
Wow.
ferocious around here. Has it hit you yet or not?
Yeah, it's been gusty. It's been gusty, but you guys are blowing warm air our way, and so today's the warmest day in a long time up here.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad you like it. Around here, I'm just watching leaves fall out of oak trees like rain,
Wow.
clogging up everything. It's all good. Awesome.
All right. So
Can't get rid
welcome
of these leaves
everybody.
with AI, baby.
AI. Okay, so welcome. I see some old familiar names and maybe a couple of new ones too. So welcome if you're here for the open house. That's awesome. Feel free to use the chat to ask questions. Howdy, Jim. Nice to see you as always. Okay.
All
Jim
right.
reports still close to 60 here with the gusts.
There you
That's
go.
our weather report from Colorado.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Ridgely, I know we have a bunch of topics to go over. I just want to issue an invite to anybody that wants to jump on the marketing hot seat, going over any of the marketing materials that you're working on. And Ridgely, I don't know where you want to start. I have some geeky training to get into, but also maybe we should do a follow-up. Last week we spoke about how we helped one of our clients craft with AI some text messages for reactivation of their list, and we do have some initial results. So I don't know if you want to get into that.
Yeah. Let's do it. You ready?
Yes, please do so. And then you can bring it up and let me just fill everybody in on the concept. So we were talking with a dental office manager, actually several who were doing the same project simultaneously. And the concept was that they had a database that they could
Yeah.
email and text, short pitch, text and email, and um, they wanted to create a reactivation campaign, right? Some touch to bring additional revenue and kind of reactivate the patient base and so forth. So we did a little findings with them. We found out that they could send emails. We found out that they could send texts. So we decided, hey, let's do a little text campaign. And we used AI and we refined some of that with you guys watching last week. And so they decided to send some text messages and we decided to batch up little campaigns and send those as tests. Okay. And then when Ridgely joins us again, we'll kind of give you the philosophy of our testing, right? And so Ridgely is always famous for saying that you don't know until you know, right? And the trust and verify and all of that. So Ridgely, before you actually pull it up and show the good folks here, what do you consider like a minimum number of touches before you can draw any conclusions?
But the current data from masterminds that have many people that send lots and lots of traffic is if you don't have 500 touches, you're not even in the game. So even though you can gain information, you can begin to build knowledge. Under 500 is not statistically reliable. It's just not something you can count on. So you need at least 500 to get started. But that doesn't mean you have to start with 500. The first thing that has to happen is you start with testing. You test stuff first. Primary reason for testing is to make sure everything works, right? In other words, you got
Right.
to at least try it first to see that it works before you ramp something up. There are people who will, send an email and just blast it out to everybody on their list without ever testing to make sure that all the links are done correctly, all the contact information is accurate, that it shows up the way it's supposed to. And that is frankly insane. Very foolish. You should always, always test any campaign. So, part number one is to run a test to make sure the thing works. And then part number two is to begin to gather data points that you can analyze, understanding the numbers. Because if you don't understand the numbers, it doesn't matter. So that's what we did with our client. I can go into a little bit more detail here, shall I?
Yes, let's do that. But let me also share one of my secret um, numbers in my head that I often bring out, and I think Ridgely agrees with the use of this number. So Ridgely, to check that nothing's wrong after you do all your technical testing and you believe everything's good and you start sending, some tests out. The percentage number that I have in my mind that I want to see that shows me that I'm in the ballpark of success is 1%. So if I send 500 emails out or whatever, and they're just average, I'm expecting 1% or five people to take positive action. If I don't get at least that, then something's wrong with either my approach or my fit to market or something. So the 1% is like the starting point. I would love to see 2%, 3%, 4%, 5% and higher, but the hey, I don't think there's anything wrong in my number is 1%.
Well, and let's define that for a second, because a lot of people are going to go, that's incredibly low. Well, remember, we're talking about somebody taking action, right? So if it's a text message, they receive it, they have to do something before you know they've taken any action. On an email, all they have to do is open the email, and you know that somebody has opened the email. Who's opened the email? But the 1% that Hubert is talking about is they're opening the email and they're doing something. They're clicking on something. They're looking at something. They're watching a video. They're doing something. Because otherwise, people might think that's incredibly low. But in today's market, if you're mailing to a respectable email list, a 15 or 16% open rate is good. So if out of that 15% open rate, you then get a 30% click-through rate, that's good. So on 500 people, for example, if 75% of them open it, sorry, if 15% of the people open a 500 email list, then that's only 75 emails that even got opened.
Right.
Then, if 30% were to take action on them, then that's 25 people who actually did something. That's actually really good numbers. So it's important to understand that in the world of online marketing, you're talking big numbers to create small results, because most people are not going to see whatever it is that you're doing, or they're going to ignore it, or they're going to go past it. So understanding 1% is not 1% of the emails that you sent out. It's the 1% who actually did something. So in a text message, if there's 100 people that got texted and 1% made a phone call, that means the situation is working. That it doesn't mean that the numbers are great. It just means it's working.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, I can share some numbers.
Sure, great. And also,
And
if you
ask
set a
questions if
creative,
this is unclear, because it is not it's not easy to figure out, and the numbers are much worse than most people think. Most people are way optimistic. Okay,
yeah,
so here are the initial results. And the criteria here, and this is important. Here's what the emails, the text message said. Hi, insert your name. So, hi, Hubert. Southern Smile Silicaga invites you to restart your treatment with a $25 discount and special gifts. Avoid future dental issues by acting before Easter. Time's ticking. Call this number or reply in 7 days. Don't miss this exclusive offer. So
Now,
we got
just
here.
as background, just to remind everybody, this was segmenting the list, and in this particular campaign, it was people that received a treatment plan in the past that have gone a certain number of months or whatever without taking action on it. So these are
That's what it
people
says
that.
right here. That's what I was about to share with everybody.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Active filters. Unscheduled treatment less than 180 days, and code has a value greater than 1,000. So this is not going to be the easiest converting patients. The easiest converting patients are more likely to be anybody who hasn't come in for their treatment when they were supposed to in the last 6 months. Those are people who have routinely gone and done their checkups, done their teeth cleanings, etc., but haven't recently. So on this tougher crowd, somebody with over 1,000, she got two undeliverables. That's normal. That's about 2% undeliverable. We clean those off the list for the next time. Two people called. No money came from this necessarily, but two people calling is another 2%, is 2% there of people who actually made a phone call based on this particular text.
And
And that
and
was
relative, and I'm sorry to step over you, in relative to my did this work, it actually I expected at least one call to tell me nothing's wrong. The fact that we got two is a bonus for me, but that's my first check right there. Did I get at least one call if I sent 95 messages out?
And because it's text messages, we can make the assumption that most people saw them and ignored them. Although there's a good chance that one or two more may still call and do something with this, because it's sitting on their phone and they've like looked at it and they haven't done anything yet, but it's still sitting there on their phone in their inbox. So I then said, okay, and I did a whole report back to her saying, hey, so if we analyze this, what we've said so far, and again, this was just sent out on Monday, so day before yesterday, it's still early in the day on Wednesday. Based on one single message, we sent 95% messages, 2% undeliverable, 2% response. Now, I said, before we blast the rest of that group, can we try a similar outbound text to those who simply haven't been to the office for a visit recently? Potentially easier to convert to see what kind of metrics we get on an easier group. And then I included a paragraph. By the way, today's industry data on outbound text messages suggests that anything less than 500 actions is not going to be statistically reliable, meaning that if we were to send out another 100 texts to the other people in the same group, our stats might be quite different. We might get 5 phone calls. So right now we're collecting data without giving it too much weight. Every time we do something like this, we will get more data and can refine our approach over time. And then I got an email back. She said 150 messages, 149, to current patients not scheduled for recare. She's going to update with results on Monday. So now what we're doing is building a framework to attract data. Now, interestingly, when we have some more data, we can use AI to analyze the data. Right now, there's not enough data to make it worthwhile to analyze, but we did use AI to come up with the message. So as you saw, if you were on our last mastermind, AI was used to do exactly this right here, to create the messaging. And
Yeah.
and it's obviously working. So there you have it. There's that
And
case study from results from last week.
I wanted to share an additional point about the data. Okay. So the data, so yes, it takes 500 um, data points to be statistically valid, but there's also the aspect originally of what's the user experience of each of the contacts. So what I'm getting at is this. So I'm sharing my screen here. So for example, I just went to Google and to ask AI search labs, uh, Google's AI search labs to put an answer. How many times should I text message a prospect before they take action? So it says here, according to sales experts, you should aim to send around 3 to 5 text messages to a prospect before considering them unresponsive, because it takes multiple touches, blah, 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 indicating it could take 5 follow-ups and close 80% of the deals. So depending on the specific campaign, that particular one that originally says was a difficult lift, yes, because you're asking for $1,000 at least. The treatment plan was $1,000. You only saw them less than 90 days ago. I think that was the setting there, right? And so,
What 180, 180, 180
oh,
days.
180. Okay. So there's some psychology here too. You can't send them one email and say, oh, they're not going to do it. 3 to 5 takes care of the variances in that they were traveling and they didn't see it, or it didn't come through, or whatever, right? Or that, like, it's okay for a dentist to be a nudge when it comes to, like, you have an issue. And if I'm your dentist and I text you 3 to 5 times, they're actually going to think, wow, this guy cares about me, right? So depending on your niche, it's entirely fine to be persistent before writing it off. So that's just another angle here, Rich.
That's right. And what we did in the conversation, if you were on the call last week, we talked about this and said, let's test this before we roll it out. In other words, we're going to test it with a one text to make sure everything works correctly. So we sent one text to one subgroup. We're now sending a second text to another subgroup. We're then going to get together again, probably on a mastermind call so everybody can see how this works. And then we're going to set up a 3 to 5 text sequence. that we're going to use to all those people. Because let me tell you what a patient is worth who isn't taking any action on behalf of the practice right now. A big fat zero, right? So the damage that can be done by sending a few text messages to unresponsive patients is zero. It's nothing. So there's no reason, if you have the technology, not to do what Hubert just said, which is to nudge them a little bit a few times before you decide, okay, I've sent them 4 text messages on this issue. They have not responded. I need to let this go for a little while,
Right.
not forever. I'm going to let this go for a little while, and then I can circle back, because if they took the time to come in and see me, if they had one treatment already, or if they got a treatment plan, that means they must be sufficiently interested, or they wouldn't have taken that time. And
Right.
therefore, I can circle back on them a little later, but not right now.
Exactly.
So,
Yes. Now, one last thing, and then we'll move on to the next topic because, I like to dive deep. Now, the concept, folks, of top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, okay, also applies. If you want to keep yourself busy, your marketing campaign should be a healthy mix of messages such as this one that's closer to the bottom of the funnel. If they say yes, they're coming in and you're collecting the $1,000. At the same time, Ridgely, we could also reactivate patients that saw you a year ago, and you can send them a thing saying, "Hey, come on in. Here's a free gift. It's time for your annual checkup." That's more top of the funnel type stuff. You can create like different messages. Maybe there are people that came in, identified a condition, but didn't get a treatment plan yet. That would be like a middle of the funnel type of thing. So you can mix and match these campaigns so that you're addressing different parts of your funnel to keep everything moving along in terms of your prospects.
and let me add something. In the old days, that's, BAI, right? Before AI, what Hubert just talked about was extremely complicated and difficult. That involves all kinds of mapping and craziness and thinking and what's it look like and how do I write this email? How do I do whatever? Now, because of AI, it is remarkably easy. You create a knowledge base, an agent like we've done, and then you basically ask the questions and you query the tool. And in doing so, you can create all those different scenarios in a matter of seconds, not even minutes, in a matter of seconds. So it's okay, for example, just to have a category: anybody that has missed their teeth cleaning appointment in the last 6 months, anybody that used to come in regularly but hasn't come in for a while, anybody that had a treatment plan but didn't move ahead, anybody that needs a follow-up on their treatment plan that they haven't come in yet. I mean, you can subcategorize like crazy, because the time it takes to create a message is nothing. It's a matter of seconds if you know how to use the tool. So,
Exactly. Yes, for sure. And
no
as a matter of fact,
excuses to be lazy.
yeah, no excuses. And also, you can get very creative in any niche. I saw an example just yesterday of a hair salon where a person texted out saying, "Hey, I happen to have some late minute cancellations. I have a slot open at 2 o'clock and at 4 o'clock. Text me back if you want them." And originally, I'll bet you anything she got those 2 spots filled on demand like that.
Mhm. We used AI again, just I love just trying helping trigger people's brain as to what you can do. We used AI for one client who owns a deli, a sandwich deli, and they like to make unique
Bologna sandwiches?
bologna sandwiches, any kind of sandwich you want, they make, but they have some unique ones. And I said to them, I said, do you ever email anybody? Oh yeah, no, we have a newsletter. We put it out to our clients. We try to get them on the newsletter. And I said to them, I said, well, why don't you do something really cool like the super special sandwich of the month? Use AI to write something hysterically funny about this sandwich, tell a story, some weird testimonial, whatever, and then send it out. And oh, by the way, once you've written that prompt, you realize you could come back every month and use the same prompt and come up with another super funny story that people would love. People will come to the deli just because of the funny story, right? So we're in the process now of really analyzing how close are we to having robots of Hubert Lee, for example, speak, all created by AI, et cetera. And it's still not quite there. It's still a little jerky. It's a little whatever. But as one of my good friends, a big online marketer, said, within 1 year, you will not be able to tell the difference between an AI generated Hubert and Hubert live on the mastermind call. So in the
Awesome.
future, I'm just going to be me and AI Hubert, and I never need this guy anymore.
There you go. And I'll be
Right.
out getting bologna sandwiches. All
Or
right,
maybe
so
I'll just be gone myself and you can just do this.
that's true. Or we can have our AI avatars just talk to each other.
I think it would be pretty funny. So I got a challenge for us, Huey. Here's my challenge for us. Watching from the sidelines, let's say this time next year, um, we do a session where it's both of our bots on here and we're one of the audience members co-hosting.
That's great.
I
All
think
right.
that would be insane.
Yes.
So, all right.
All right. So can I get geeky for a minute? I have
Yeah.
this will take about 5 minutes. I some training that I wanted to do. Received some questions about this, and so let me just answer for everybody. Okay, so you can see my screen. I'm going to uh platform.openai.com. If you do not have an API key from OpenAI, you gotta go and do it. Put $10 in it, and you'll have access to do all of this stuff that you're seeing. Okay, it's like the value of the century here. Okay, so I'm clicking dashboard, I'm clicking assistants, and I'm gonna go into one of our assistants. Okay, so let's just, I don't know, 29th Street Dental Care Copywriter. Okay, all right. So we spoke about in the past how the system instructions are super important and you evolve it over time and you give it like this basic mega giant prompt that does everything that you want. You put it in here. Then you go and you train it by uploading all the material that is relevant to the topic at hand, including things from reviews and everything else. Okay, so you do that. What we didn't talk about is this guy down here. Super important. Okay, and let me just go over this concept. There's a setting called temperature and there's a setting called top P. Okay, right now I have them fairly high. One for temperature and one for top P, which is very high, and I'll explain what that is. Okay. Temperature controls randomness. All right, and I'll tell you about that. And top P controls diversity. Okay, we mostly use AI for our marketing messaging, and temperature and top P are very critical for this. Let me just go and explain this concept with some examples. Okay, so understanding OpenAI's temperature and top P parameters with examples. What's temperature? Temperature is a setting that controls randomness when picking words. Okay, low values make the text more predictable and consistent, while high values let more freedom and creativity. Okay, now it depends on your use case. If you're giving answers and the truth and veracity of it is very important, you must set a low value of temperature, right? So, for example, if you set the temperature to 0, responses are very predictable, always choosing the next most likely word. This is great for answers where facts and accuracy are really important, right? For example, if you ask, what are the benefits of exercising? Okay, with a temperature of 0, the model might say, exercising improves heart health and muscle strength, lowers the chance of chronic diseases, and helps manage weight. Great. Now turn the temperature to 1. The model takes more chances picking words that are less likely, which can lead to more creative but unpredictable results. Same question, what are the benefits of exercising? Exercise is the alchemist turning sweat into a miracle cure, a ritual dancing in the flames of effort and reward. Right? And so, how lyrical you want it, you can actually control that with this temperature control. Okay? So, now, those that have been with us for a long time know that with limbic messaging, with the we believe statements, with the you deserve statements that we've all done as a group in the past, and with Ridgely and I showing examples, we tend to appreciate Ridgely the more lyrical part. And what's happening in that, the reason why in the last year and a half we've embraced AI so much is that it has become lyrical in just the right enough way where we marvel at AI's output and we consider it now a writing partner because the lyricalness is darn good, right? But you can control that, is my point. Now, let's move to top P. Top P is like the number of possible words that it can pick from, meaning a high top P value makes the model look at more possible words, even the less likely ones, so it makes it more diverse. So let's look at some examples. If you ask for a title for an adventure book and your top P is 0.5, it might come up with The Mystery of the Blue Mountain. Okay, so that's good. The Mystery of the Blue Mountain, if you want a title. Now increase the top P so that it's more diverse. And now it comes as Voices from the Abyss, a portrait of the brave. So originally you can see how, like, you can control how lyrical you want this to be. Now, I went to Perplexity and I said, show me examples of variations of temperature and top P settings with writing examples, right? So again, folks, if you don't use Perplexity, Perplexity is awesome because it goes and does a lifetime search out in the web. So it goes and gets the first concept and it goes and searches. And here are all the things it found. Then it goes and finds examples and searches. And here are all the things it found. Meaning you can go and look at each one as you want, like a search engine. Then it goes into finding examples of different top P settings and it gives examples. But now it explains it to you with an AI layer where it synthesizes all of that and teaches you. So for example, if I have low temperature and low top P, an output might be the capital of France is Paris. It's known for rich history and culture. So straight up. Right? If you go medium temperature and medium top P, you'll get this kind of thing. Rivet, a rusty old repair bot woke with a start. The flickering lights of the abandoned factory cast long shadows around him. Okay? Now let's go high temperature and high top P. Listen to this. The chrome glint of starlight danced on Zephyr's metallic wings as she soared through the drenched canyons of Titan City. You see how it's now getting evocative in terms of imagery and that sort of thing? Low temperature and high P. Unit 734, a cleaning robot, diligently followed its programmed route through the sterile corridors of the spaceship. Let's flip that. High temperature and low top P. Now it's like in the Twilight's embrace, the city of dreams whispered tales of forgotten heroes, neon signs, blah blah blah, whatever. So my point is that creative writing. Okay, so Ridgely is formally academically trained in writing, but also has spent a lifetime mastering writing. And the things that he knows about his output are at this point unconscious, but believe it or not, in Ridgely's head is rattling around similar concepts of temperature and low and top P. We don't call it that, but Ridgely, for a machine to produce this, we had to engineer these concepts and these variables and give you slider controls and mix and match. So the stuff happens not by magic, but by like breaking it down into the tiniest little details and then letting us control all of that.
Yeah, for sure. And so let's take this one step further in terms of what AI doesn't do all that well. So that in the context of improving the outputs that we want for ourselves, what else do we need to pay attention to? So in the AI-driven world, we have to kind of orient our mindsets around humility, learning, and adaptability, the ability to bob and weave. We got to get out of the comfort bubble. We got to confront the scary learning processes. What Hubert just showed you was pretty amazing. And I would bet that hardly anybody on this mastermind knew about that. By the way, including me until just now, right? I did not know about this until Hubert just shared it with all of us. We've got to push away our fear of technology and just become like self-aware. Like ask the question, what do you bring to the table that AI does not? And what weaknesses do you have that AI can mitigate? So you've got to recognize what is your human value and what is the tool value to you. Right now, one of the things that is probably the biggest Achilles heel for AI is emotional intelligence. AI can brainstorm a lot of ideas, it can analyze the information, but it can't yet really motivate and inspire people in the same way that you or I can do live like this. So we really want to be thinking about that. What is it that you do? Well, the other big thing of AI, about AI, that we have to understand how to combat is the lack of credibility. There's a lot of people that just don't trust it. So, what can we do to create outputs that are trustworthy? Well, things like what I did with what we did on our last mastermind call with those text messages. We just created the text message. We put out the text message. The text message worked. Now we do some more. And when the thing produces actual results, the credibility goes through the roof. So really be thinking about what is it that you bring that AI can't bring, and what can AI do that you're not particularly good at, so that you're literally maximizing your own value, your human value in this AI driven world, and you're mitigating your human fragilities using AI as a tool. Hubert, any comments on that?
I had to unmute myself. Yes. So what Ridgely's talking about made me think of a, a topic that came up last week. So Ridgely, as we were showing examples last week, I was saying yes, please, and being nice to AI. And so there, in the chat, there was a discussion about like, does it really help to be nice to AI and to be polite and all of this? Okay. So what I didn't get into is the idea of emotional prompting. Okay, so that's a technique which we're gonna, and it ties in with your value, your humanity, your humanness. Okay, is super important as you're pointing out, and in terms of your needs and so forth. But you can actually transmit that. Your role is to transmit the importance of your prompt. Okay, so us, the users, are super important, not because we are subject matter, not solely because we're subject matter experts in our business, but we know how important it is to us to get the right result. And believe it or not, I'm going to show some examples. You can transmit that to the search results, okay, to your AI output. So let me just share this here. And again, I went to I went to Google first, and I said the value of emotional prompts in AI results. Okay, so emotional prompts in AI can significantly enhance the quality of results by adding nuance, depth, and a more human-like understanding to responses. Okay, so it goes in and talks about why it um, might be valuable. Okay, so then I went to Perplexity and I said, show me examples of emotional prompting of AI. Okay, so look at these. So it's a technique that it leads to more nuances and so forth, and it does get you better results. If you add this phrase to your prompt, this is very important to my career. Believe it or not, that helps. Okay, the answer is important to my health and well-being. You'd better be sure, right? Are you sure it might be worth taking another look? Encouragement, you can motivate the AI engine by saying things like believe in your abilities and strive for excellence. Your hard work will yield remarkable results. And then on and on and on. So the idea originally of, and I'm just dropping this as an aside or a in-depth kind of a discussion, in that yes, the humanity of it is super important and AI can't replace that, but you can coach it to help you reach your results, because believe it or not, it wants to help you. Now, under the hood, we don't know why this stuff works. This is like empirically driven. They've done studies where you do a prompt this way straight, and then you do it with an emotional flair, and you get better results. I don't know if it's because we perceive it as better and it's more valuable to us or whatever. We don't know. And people are shocked. Newcomers to AI are shocked. They think AI programming is like regular programming. You can look at the code and see all the logic. AI programming, generative AI, the reason why they call it generative is because it's literally a black box. There's a black box, and in this black box, stuff comes in, stuff comes out, but what's happening in there, we actually don't know. We actually do not know how AI works. To simplify it, AI guesses at the next word. The cat sat on the, and through top P settings and temperature settings, If you dial it down to be less creative, it's going to say, the cat sat on the mat. And then the second it comes, let me back up. The cat comes in, it's going to say high probability of the word sat. And then it sends it back around looping again. The cat sat. And then the next thing is like, oh, it next word is probably on. And it keeps iterating like that. It makes stuff up and it's almost like magic. Anyway, Ridgely, I'm diverting again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's do a business exploration. And bearing in mind that we are talking in this particular case about largely including the concept of emotional intelligence, I'm going to go back to uh, the original go-to prompt that we have for that starts from scratch. So the prompt creator, so to speak. And we're going to ChatGPT here. We're going to kick it off and we're going to run a new chat. Here we go. I'm going to go to Ridgely's prompts. I'm going to grab prompt creator because I kind of want to have a conversation with the tool about this particular thing. So this particular business, and I'm just going to share my screen and we're going to do this together. This particular business is a concept that uh, is about setting up a surf camp in Puerto Rico as a rental thing, as an income producing business. And we're going to walk through this right now using our own emotional intelligence piece to talk to the tool. So we're going to go like this. We're going to say, all right, you are a market researcher and direct response copywriter with deep knowledge on eco-friendly building, especially in the jungle. This is how specific you can get. You have been tasked by the owner of Brisa Salvaje, which means the savage wind, um, to explore building an eco surf resort into the side of a hill in Puerto Rico between Rincon and Aguadilla, which, by the way, is where the big waves are. That's like the North Shore of Hawaii. Uh, we want to explore options that can be built from scratch, like yurts and geodesic, how you spell this, desic domes and other luxury glamping approaches. So there's the concept, right? I've got the concept down there and I'm going to say, and you can add more to this, but as long as I use the prompt, it's going to ask me questions. So we're going to get deeper. Let's do this. Here we go. Where is it going to take me? So you can go and start with an idea. I've got an idea. Let me explore this idea. And you can see the tool is thinking. There's a lot of stuff in there. Rincon, Aguadilla, something regenerate. There we go. I'm stumping it, man. I'm stumping it. There you go. There's a prompt rating. Here we go. Solid start with clear direction, but we're prioritizing. All right, so here we go. We're getting the revised prompt. And by the way, it corrects things, right? So I misspelled Aguadilla. It corrected it for me because AI is very smart that way. So here we go. It's going to ask me questions so that it can get a better response. So clarify the target audience. Okay. The target audience is surfers and sailors and wellness retreat people. Budget expectations, hybrid solutions. We want hybrid solutions that can appear luxurious at a low price. Notice I do not have to correct my spelling. Any cultural community involvement in the build process? I don't think so. This should be year round as the temperature does not fluctuate much. Yes, we need permits. Now, all I'm doing is answering the questions and then questions. What's the ideal experience? We want a nature immersed experience that is comfortable. And structures are semi-permanent. Structures are semi-permanent. Amenities. Amenities include surf school, retreat, and yoga practice area. And yes, this is a multi-phase project because the beginning part of it has to then be funded by the ongoing revenue, right? So you just think it through. What am I trying to do? 9 out of 10, man, I'm getting close already. But I want some more stuff. I want it to be clear that we're building on a hill so everybody has a view, right? And it's hard to build there, which means that the land is going to be cheaper, but the construction is going to be more expensive. So I can start to add that in. A few more details. We want to buy raw land on the side of a hill and put the structures on the land in such a way as to maintain beautiful views from each one. Now, what are the questions it asking me for? Man, look at this. Suggestion for improvement. Yes, explore local material sourcing. Although we are open to do-it-yourself construction. My spelling is really bad today. Construction, although it doesn't really matter. Eco-tour apartment, event-based retreats. Yes, event-based retreats are great. Yes to communal kitchen or outdoor barbecue. Budget range in the 100 to 200,000. Boom. I'm just still putting in information. Now I've got a prompt that's a 10. Okay, so not so easy to get to a 10, but literally took me less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. So now let's see what this prompt is. You're a market research and direct response copywriter with deep expertise in eco-friendly construction and tropical environments. You've been hired by the owner of Brisa Salvaje, a planned eco surf and wellness resort located on the hillside between Rincon and Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. The goal is to create a sustainable, nature-immersed retreat that combines affordable luxury with an adventurous, community-driven experience. The resort will be built on raw land, ensuring each unit has a stunning view while minimizing environmental impact. The budget is $100,000 to $200,000. The resort will be developed in multiple phases. Your task is to research and develop a strategic plan covering the following key areas. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. Look at this. Eco-friendly construction and design. Best structures, local material, DIY-friendly construction, optimal land layout, minimalist luxury aesthetics, guest experience and amenities, target audiences, amenities, event-based retreats, permits and regulations, etc. Competitive analysis, market positioning, identify successful eco resorts, what makes them work, find differentiation strategies, phase development plan, multi-phase strategy, budget allocation, possible local partnerships, direct response marketing strategy. I mean, how ridiculous can you get to be able to produce something like that in 10 minutes, right? And final questions. Prioritize solar power and hybrid utilities, communal areas to be central, glamping style tents to be considered. This is the last one I'm going to do, and then we'll run it. Founders Club is a great idea. Ideal timeline from start to launch is 4 months. Boom. It's going to revise this one more time, finalized and ready to run. I've never seen that before, Hubert. Have you? I've never seen the prompt tell me it's finalized and ready to run. That's a first.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Okay, so we're going to run it and see what we come up with. I just want to point something out to everybody. Yes, I had a purpose behind doing this to potentially help my son, but you could do this with any idea you have. Any idea. It doesn't matter what it is. Local business, funny business, product, song, book, whatever. I mean, it's just crazy what's possible when we can just open our minds to what are the pieces that you do, what are the pieces that AI does for you. And now, of course, it's running this tremendous. The prompt is so sophisticated, it now takes a long time for it to recreate the prompt. And I don't know what Hubert's doing, but he's doing something.
I am.
So we are going to run the prompt now because we just don't have enough time to keep going on this. But it's ridiculous what you can do. We can come back to these final questions on another day, right? We can always do that. Run the prompt. Boom. So now it's going to go out. Now we've spent all that time figuring it out, what the instructions are. Now, with this level of detail, now you have a whole possible situation coming up here that is not only super interesting, but it takes into consideration everything we put into the prompt. So the clamping tents, yurts and geodesic domes, bamboo and reclaimed wood, natural stone, terrace design, minimal land disturbance, surfers and sailors, wellness enthusiasts, outdoor community kitchen and barbecue, yoga deck, season festivals, local collaborations. How do we figure out energy solutions, solar power, install photovoltaic panels? Capitalizing on Puerto Rico's abundant sunlight, hybrid system, rainwater harvesting, composting toilets, recycling programs, what are the permits that you need, etc. Analysis, and then it's even giving you links to places. 8 most sustainable Puerto Rico eco lodges. Look
Yeah,
at that.
so folks, just to stop here for a moment. So, last week we actually talked about how the engines are leapfrogging each other. This functionality right here is a direct response by OpenAI on Perplexity's approach. So originally, the this looks and feels very much like Perplexity because OpenAI saw how positive a reaction, the Perplexity approach took, and so now it's making it like a search engine combo kind of a thing, similar to Perplexity. So this is one of these leapfrogging things.
Yeah, which is fantastic. It's great. So there you go. All the phased development plan. What's it look like? What are the strategies for marketing, etc. Done. I mean, crazy. And then you can check the sources. What sources did we come up with? Look at all this. The sources are now, like Perplexity, over here on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Input in the chat from Ross. He says, "You're on the water. What about water desalination and wind power plus solar?" Good ideas.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to take up too much more time on doing this, but look at how cool this is. And so now I want to do this. Great. Thank you. What have been the most successful strategies or features of eco lodges that appeal to the greatest number of users? Give me the top 5, thinking outside the box, and that the location is near the ocean. I could try to figure this out, or I could just ask the tool. Okay. Transformative multisensory experiences, more than just a stay. A program that combines surf lessons with breath work, yoga, and guided visualization to teach the flow with the waves. Wild awakening echo retreats, sunrise meditation, guided ocean dips. Look at this. No Wi-Fi detox zones. Rebrand it as a feature. Reconnect with yourself, not your inbox. What? This is great. And here's an example in Indonesia that has a waiting list. There you go. Here's another. So, floating hammocks or platform tents for sunset stargazing or meditation. Tidal pools, boat lodge suites. Oh, that's clever. Old fishing boats into eco bungalows. Oh, that's very clever. And there's another one. Star Lodge yurts in Panama, etc. Boom. 2 to 3 times more than land-based glamping. Right? Beautiful. Ocean to table food. And it keeps going. And you can then take one of these and say, wow, give me more details on number 4 or number 2 or whatever. Right? So, Hubert, I mean, to me, this is just mind-boggling what's possible.
Yes, exactly. It really is. So what you've gotten here is the sage counsel of um, not only a marketing expert, but also a an architect, an expert architect, an expert environmental impact analysis type of thing. Like each person in their specialty, originally doing this 10 years ago would have required a proof of concept phase where you're spending $1 million just to get like to the point where you got now, right? And so the latest models talking about leapfrogging each other, it's generally acknowledged that the level of AI now is at the PhD graduate level, meaning, Ridgely, you've just employed several PhDs with 20 years of experience in their respective areas to help you come up with this strategy here.
So now I just want to watch this. Integrate strategy 1 into the plan. or you could really work super hard on this. I really prefer integrate strategy one into the plan myself. And now it's going to give you two options, two responses that integrated the whole strategy that they just came up with, the five different strategies, into the plan we were building. I mean, I don't want to do this work anymore. Hubert, why would you want to do that?
Exactly.
Okay. See, now this is formerly guest experience and amenities is now transformative multisensory guest experience. At Breezes, the guest experience starts before arrival and extends far beyond checkout. This is not a place to stay. It's a journey of self-renewal through ocean, movement, and stillness. Key experiences, ocean therapy and surf mindfulness, breath work before surfing, guided flow state surfing, post-surf reflection sessions, moonlit ocean therapy sessions, etc. I mean, give me a break. This is great. And there we go, the rainwater harvesting that Ross was just talking about. So, okay. Hubert, thoughts, comments? What are you doing over there? I know you're doing something.
Yeah, no, no. So I was actually we're out of time to do it. But just keep this around, and next time I'll show in our offer stage what we can do with this. So meaning this is a long running project where you're building this, right? And so in the time that it takes to do this, what we can do, Ridgely, at the top of the funnel, I was going to say to ask it, and we'll do this next time, to help build the audience for this. And then I was going to use our offers tool, which is, incredible. It press a button. So we're going to extract like the user experience for the user, and then we're going to ask the offers thing to start building via lead magnets and online marketing the funnel for the top of the people to get into, so that we have a list of names, so that by the time this thing is ready to market, we've been doing that on the side as well. So very cool stuff.
And look at this. Look at the direct response marketing now more emotionally compelling. Instead of selling a stay, we sell a transformation. Old
Nice.
message, book an Eco Lodge on the Puerto Rican coast. New, your body was meant to move with the ocean. Reconnect with a natural rhythm at Brisa Salvaje. Website hook, you don't just come here to surf, you come here to remember who you are. What? What?
Yeah, I
I
know, right?
It's
This is
super
good stuff.
crazy. Okay. All right, man. Come on, Hubert. I know you got something for us. What do you got?
All right, you tell the good folks when we're meeting next, and I will bring out the goodies. This is my favorite part of the call. I hold the call just to get to this part, usually.
So, next week, it is the second Thursday of the month. And for those of us who have been around for a minute or two, we know what that means. Mind Types After Dark. And we invite you to bring your favorite cocktail or tea. It doesn't matter, whatever you want. We will meet as we always do, 8 o'clock p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday the 13th. So next Thursday the 13th, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern Time for Mind Types After Dark. We have a good time on that. So please mark your calendars. All right, Hubert, go ahead.
All right, my favorite part of the call, folks. Anybody on the call that's new, I love dad jokes, and I've curated three classics originally. Classics. Originally, what did the fish say when he swam into a wall?
What?
Damn.
Oh God.
This is
That's
originally, what do you call a can opener that doesn't work? A can opener that doesn't work.
what?
A can't opener.
Oh God. It's just
And finally,
terrible.
originally, here's a good one. Why can't a nose be 12 inches long? Why can't a nose be 12 inches long?
I don't
Because then it'd be a foot.
know. All right, fine. Okay. We're out of here. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Appreciate all of you. And
Oh,
yeah,
Dorina got the foot one. Of course she did.
of
Right?
course, the masters in cahoots with each other. I get it. All right, people. You guys are great. Oh man. Woof, woof, woof. Okay. See y'all later. See you next week. Mind Types After Dark. Ciao, ciao. Hubert, I'll ping you in a minute.